Nishan, should we start?
Sure, let's get started.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think we should start.
He- yeah. Hello, everyone. So today, me and my colleague Nishan, we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about how women participation can be facilitated in stock market by the government, and we would like all of you to participate. I
One of
can
the
see
key
there are a couple.
points I just quickly want to mention, one of the key reasons we are having this conversation is because Mohit from our team mentioned that he is in conversations with a member of parliament, and the member of parliament is trying to understand how the cash allocated by the government can be used to have an impact on women participation in the stock market. It seems the government has allocated some cash for this particular exercise, but the amount of budget being used for that is less than 5%. I mean, so the amount of money that gets allocated for it never gets properly used. So please feel free to participate, because whatever suggestions you make will be taken into consideration by Mohit, and they might even reach the member of parliament. So, right,
Yes,
Mohit, do
thanks.
you agree or disagree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. All right. So guys, get started. The format we'll pursue is we'll try to give five minutes to each speaker to speak, and then have 5 minutes for counter arguments, and maybe 2 to 3 minutes for the audience to put in their points. I'll try to manage the time, but I'll try to be as flexible as possible. We are not trying to, basically cut off people or anything, but we just want to put some structure so that we can get at least 3 to 4 questions answered in this time period. So, all right, guys, both of you go ahead.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I can see there are less number of women in participants than men, which itself says that the number is low. But I would like everyone to participate and share their thoughts. So without, so instead of me starting, I want someone in the audience should tell their story from women, or if someone knows someone who is part of stock market and why women around them are part of stock market or not, please come or tell a story. Anyone can speak, and then I'll tell you my story. Maitri, Murugavel, if anyone around you is participating in stock market, or even if not, then you can come and share it.
So, Richa, I do not have a story as such, but the women I know who are participating in stock markets are the women uh, who actually have surplus amount of money with them, not because they are earning, but because their partners are earning, and then they want to make use of their time, and so they are doing it and trying to learn it. Uh, That is the way I have seen it happening. Rather than some woman who is earning and then she is taking lead in investing in stocks. That is what I have yet to encounter.
Correct. So what I'll not disagree to Maitri, but my story or the story that I have been surrounded by is very different. So I come, so basically that's also because of the fact that people around me have been investing. So I have been part of this industry long because I've seen people around me and I've seen some examples where women in my family invest. I guess for me, it was like women in our family started investing way before men did. So for us, the story is different. So that's how different the stories are. And what I've seen in the last couple of years also that women have women participation is being pushed by everyone around them by government, but the problem is it is not being facilitated in a way or it is not structurally being executed because as Mohit mentioned that there is where so many initiatives but it is not happening. So coming to my question, my first question that I feel is
Richa,
Yes,
I have also one story related to my family.
yes, please go
Uh,
ahead.
like early in 90s now, my grandpa has purchased some shares from Reliance. एंड वो शेयर्स उन्होंने मेरे मॉम के नाम पे परचेज किए थे एंड तब मॉम को भी नहीं पता था कि वो शेयर्स की वैल्यू एंड वो शेयर्स क्या होते हैं एंड क्या नहीं होते हैं बट हम जब इस स्टेज में आए कि हम चीज़ें शेयर मार्केट को जान सके जब मैं उस एज में आया जब मेरी मॉम उस चीज़ को समझ पाई तो वो रिलेट कर पाए कि शेयर मार्केट क्या होता है इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग कि हमें टोटली डिपेंडेंट हम गवर्नमेंट पे नहीं रह सकते इफ आई एम लाइक जस्ट इफ आई एम मैरिड कि इफ मैं करता हूँ मैरी होता हूँ तो आई शुड ऑल्सो दैट मच ऑफ थिंक कि मैं अपने डॉटर के लिए कुछ शेयर परचेस करूँ सो
Correct.
अब जो वो उस एज में आएगी तो उससे भी वो चीज मोटिवेट करेगी कि मीन्स शेयर मार्केट क्या होता है कि हम टोटली डिपेंडेंट किसी और पे ना होके हम फैमिली से ही स्टार्ट करें हमारे जनरेशन हमारे वुमेन्स को उन सब चीजों का फैसिलिटेट करने के लिए तो इट कुड बी अ बेस्ट आइडिया टू empower our women within the family or within the loved ones like that.
Okay. But I don't disagree, but what I say, have you heard this idiom when you give a man I may be wrong, but you give a man a fish, he will eat it a day. But if you teach a man to hunt for a fish, it will give him a, life skill that he can use and he can learn it. So what I'm telling is what you are telling is not wrong. But if you will purchase on her behalf, you are not teaching her anything. And it might take her long to understand what it is. You are just providing it for her. But there is no guarantee that she will be learning it. This is just an authority position. But
No,
she
I'm not
also have
just
to
saying, I'm just saying
understand
like
what
he,
stock
I
One
just,
market
sec,
is.
one sec, one sec. Okay, I got the point both of you are making. Let us hold on to this point because I think as the debate progresses, it will add much more flavor to the points you both are making. Let us focus on the debate for right now. And before the end of the debate, we'll come back to this point because this is a very interesting point. Let us just color it with the debate first and then come back to it. Okay?
Correct. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw the first question, which today seems very relevant. Well, women always invest. It's not like women don't invest. We know that the highest thing, the women in India have been investing in gold for the longest. And given today, when gold has hit 1 lakh, there is no better time to discuss it. So why do we think that uh, pivoting women to stock market is still very essential, is still required for the upliftment of investing or the upliftment of economy itself?
Do
Nishant.
you have this question in a slide format by any chance? No.
No, 1 second.
Acha.
Sure. Can you
Okay.
can you say it again so I would be able to understand properly what you are just trying to ask?
So
Actually,
my
let's do
question
this.
is,
Nishant, just pull up your PPT
Okay.
one,
and just type the question as she's saying so that we can at least have.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Just share your screen
Okay, sir.
and type the question in a PPT as she's speaking so that we can at least have a well-defined question for ourselves.
Sure, sir.
should I
Mm.
speak? Yeah, why do you think we need women in India to pivot to stock market when we know,
To stock
The
market.
stock market, yeah.
when we know Indian women invest in gold? Is the when Indian women are highest investor in gold
Gold.
Okay.
after
All right.
the
नहीं नहीं, अभी ठीक है, इतना लेंथ बहुत है, वी गॉट द पॉइंट बेसिकली। ठीक है, चलो, ओके। सो as planned, Richa, you are going to speak on it for 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. So, as much as I think that gold is a very lucrative, it's a best hedge that we can find, but I still feel like the run up it has given in the last 1.5 or 2 years has been significant, and we have seen that gold also rises in the geopolitical situation which is happening around. But I feel like that doesn't tell the complete story, because when a company needs to grow, we cannot be so reliant or so dependent on one asset class. And I feel like India is a country where the population is very big, and it is among one of the biggest market that is being one of the biggest market that is in play today, where everyday people are investing so much, but we don't still see that stock market has reached its full potential. I still feel like barely 2 or 3% people are investing in Indian stock market, and we see women are even a lower percentage of it. So that that makes me think that that makes me think that women should move towards stock market to increase that number first. Second thing is, I guess, the familiarity and ease of gold is so much inhabited in women that, and I also feel like in India, people don't just invest because they want to have it. There is a sentiment towards it, or there is a emotional attachment to it. Even when you see in stock market, people tend to move to bigger names or known names because they have those uh, relatability thing, or that you know sense of trust in that. So I feel like in India, investment sometimes really is attached to emotions. So that's why, and the ease of it, I don't think so. To buy or sell gold, you have to understand anything rather than just the price of it, and then you have to store it. Nothing else. You don't have to know Bollinger Bands. You don't have to keep track of it. There is no yield. There is nothing. It's just you are going to buy it and you are going to sell it. There is that, and we know that gold is itself a different. I feel like those are the factors which definitely gives an edge for women to invest in gold. So yeah, that's what I think. And yeah, that's my primary reason to think why do women in India still invest in golds and not in stock market.
But the question really is, why do we need women to invest in gold? I mean, invest in stock market, sorry. Why are we interested in making women invest in the stock market? So what is your final answer to that?
Yeah, so what I think is, for smooth functioning of a better functioning of stock market, we cannot just rely on one person. Even for women, if they are putting all their money in gold, they are highly concentrating in one asset class. When we talk about diversification, we talk about putting your money, don't put your eggs in all baskets. So that is why I think that women in stock market would really be appreciated. And I also feel like whenever things are diversified in terms of caste, creed, gender, things come up with for better, we get better solutions for things. We get different perspective of how to run things, on what to run things. So I think so in those terms, women will contribute more. And we have seen in past couple of years, there are women who are participation in stock market. There are some mutual fund managers who are women who are in the highest term. We have seen Radhika Gupta, she has been there. We have seen there are women who are also
Okay,
investing, and we have seen that. So yeah.
cool. Go ahead, Nishant.
Yes, sir. Uh, okay, Richa. So as you said that we should not dependent on the single thing or person for the investment in the stock market, right? That is what you have
I
said.
think I think he made 2 points. One is related to diversification,
Hmm.
And the second is basically participation,
Right, sir.
right?
So,
So her main points were diversification and participation.
so first point I would like to say that, see, if women participate in the market, so basically they are going to be a retail investor. Do you agree that?
Continue.
Right. So
Yes.
I don't think so that it will impact a lot for as a, because see, retail traders are not run the market or manipulate the market or run like try to handle the market. They are very having a low participation as compared to, because the market runs by the like huge like HNI, you can say, institutional traders, FIIDIs and all that things. So I don't think so that why we should, like, yeah, as you said that we should participate women's into the market as a dependency onto the men. So first point is that. And what was about the diversification you said? I forgot.
And I mean, the
So hold
women.
on. I'll take care of that.
Okay,
So
okay,
what she's talking about is that any portfolio should be diversified. Any portfolio that is just concentrated on gold is
Mhm.
not a healthy portfolio. So there needs to be a diversification even in a portfolio owned by women, and that diversification requires that there be some presence of gold of stocks in their portfolio.
Right, right. Okay. So I do agree with this point actually, Richa, that there should be a diversification in term of the portfolio, that we should not depend on to the into the only for the gold. We should some sort of having enough shares as well in the portfolio. But here, one question is my mind that as far as we talk about the invest in the gold, so there are two categories to invest in the gold, because a few female look forward to make some sort of ornaments or jewelry, right? And the as far as I know, as an investment in the gold, so there should be a physical gold in term of bricks. So there is a different purpose behind those jewelries and ornaments and the pure investment in gold. So what do you understand, or what? This is for me a different.
I mean, I get your point because I
One sec,
feel like
one sec,
women
one
do.
sec, one sec, one sec. So are you done with your points?
Yes, sir.
Acha. So I just want to do a truth check, right? So one of the things you mentioned in the part that you discussed was that the retail trader does not have a big role to play in the markets, and that's why it does not matter what decisions he makes for the direction of the market,
Right,
right?
right,
That was an But the reality is that 40% of the activity in the market is handled by the retail trader, although he owns only 10% of the market. So it's not like the retail trader is not eager to make an impact on the market. It is just that he does not have the right strategies to help him figure out how to own a larger share of the market, right?
okay,
He
right,
does want to have an impact, but he is not being able to find his way through the system because it is being overpowered by the institutions, right? If we start using the logic you use, basically we will totally cut off the retail investor from the system. So
yes,
I don't think we should be motivated towards following that logic, because that logic can easily shut off the retail investor from the markets. So something to be careful about, right?
oh, right.
So go ahead, Richa, you were trying to make a counterpoint. Now you guys can go ahead and make some counterpoints. Right?
So I agree to your points. That first point, that retail participant doesn't really move the markets, but that's the whole point. That we have so much, and once people will start in the numbers, we need people to outnumber it. I get it that they won't, but I want them to influence it a bit. Unless until we have seen it very recently that once FII will take their money out, market will react in that way. But that's the whole point. What if getting women participation will increase the number significantly? We don't know if it will impact or not. But what if the missing part of puzzle is women? And here the question is getting women into participation more than, affecting the market, affecting how the market moves. And the whole point was when the women will come, there will be new perspective, there will be new things, or there will be uh, some ideas that we have never think about. So diversity is always appreciated. That was my one point. And to answer your second thing, where you said that buying a jewelry and buying a gold is a different thing, but I do feel like not everyone. I feel like women also buy, gold bricks or something as a point of investment only. Not every woman buy jewelry, all the money that she has in gold as part of jewelry, because that will appreciate the value of gold. And when, if needed, if she needs the jewelry, she can always convert into it. So holding a piece of, I guess all the Indian women do it. I want women to, in the audience, to tell me if they do it or not. But this is also one of the very common practice in ladies, women's, that we tend to buy physical gold in forms of gifts, and then we convert if needed. We we sometimes convert it in the jewelry. So that's how also we do it. But it is also for the investment. But as I said, like if she would have known that in stock market there are different ways when she can invest. But when you hold a physical gold, there is the problem of storage. There is a thing where if you store it, you cannot keep it in open, you cannot wear it every day. So when you keep it in lockers, there is a, fees assigned to it. There is a there is a debt, there is a fee, or there is a payment assigned to it. So what options they have? If they would have been in stock market, they know they could have taken a virtual gold. There is an SGB which is now discontinued by government, but there was an option of going into SGB. We know there are a lot of gold ETFs which are relatively very cheaper. So if women have known that option, I'm pretty sure women would try to put their money in that also. But because they don't know.
Okay. All right,
So,
Nishant. Any
yeah.
counterpoints? Yeah.
So, sir, I would like to ask her that can we have the data that how many women invest in the gold versus equity?
Yeah, I mean, let's not
So
ask each other for data. Either
I mean,
we
like,
have data and we present our data, but asking somebody for data at this point will not get us too far. So
okay,
if you have data, you present your data, but don't ask
okay,
the opponent for data. Yeah. So,
okay.
yeah.
No point, sir. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Okay. I mean, to summarize, a lot of interesting points have come up. One is, okay, whether, I mean, I think it's a great question to start with, that should women even be encouraged to participate in the stock market? Is that a good idea? Or should they be left to their design and just let them invest in gold, right? I think that's a great question to start with. And, the points that Richa made were definitely valid. I mean, it's a good place to start. But hopefully, the future questions will throw further light on what is the impact the government is looking for in encouraging women to participate. So,
Right.
all right, Nishant, what is the question from your end?
Yes. Let me share the screen first.
Sure. I mean, anybody from the audience, hold on, before we go to the second question, I forgot to engage the audience. Anybody in the audience has a comment on whether women should be encouraged to invest in gold or not? I mean, invest in stock market. I keep saying gold. Invest in the stock market or not? Yeah.
Hi, sir, I have one point.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Before
Murgal.
that,
Yeah.
yes, before that, I'm telling my story. Actually,
Mhm.
after the COVID, I am looking for the YouTube content. So mostly I focused on the stocks because that time it was crashing. So when I try to find a content how to learn on the stock market, mostly both of the men and women, both contents are there in the YouTube. But first, mostly I attracted with the women's content because it's mostly very humble and they have more time to explain. They will explain repeatedly. Okay. So first, because of that, I attracted to the women content, and I have learned many things. I think I hope you know Rachna Ranade YouTube channel. She
Mm.
has more than 5 million. So after learning, first I understand the market, then later I tried with a small amount. So then I invested. So first thing forced me to enter in the stock market is first I understand the market. So the woman content only it's helped me to enter the stock market because it will give some positive impact. So I would say in the family, if for example, children most of the time they will spend with the mom. So if mom have the more knowledge on the stock market, obviously the children they will learn more. So I'm not saying the children's it will they will invest immediately. It will take time, but first they will understand the market, right? So once they understand the market, when the right time comes, they will start investing. So it's completely depends on the children's. I'm not saying it's directly they'll definitely they will invest. First they will understand the market, then it will leads to invest it.
Excellent point, Murugavel. I guess the main point you are making is that woman is the teacher in the family. And if
Yes,
the
correct.
teacher in the family knows the material, automatically the rest of the family will get engaged.
Yes. So
Mm.
All
definitely after the 10 years, based on the children's age, definitely next gen, the people's they're more focused on the stocks, definitely sure it will increase. So
okay.
significantly it will make a big impact.
Okay. Perfect.
That's my point.
Anybody else has any other point? We still
Can I
do
say
have about
something?
1 hour. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I always feel that whenever anybody invests in gold, then that the amount of gold that they invest in just remains locked inside the locker, and the price I think increases very slowly. While when you invest in stocks, then your money is being utilized for growth.
Right. You know that that reminds me. There's a Seinfeld episode where where he's talking about everybody keeps telling him that his money should go and work for him rather than him going and doing the work. And he says, I don't want my money to go and work for me. I want my money to be sitting safely at home. I want to go and work. I don't want the money to get lost somewhere. And I prefer that the money, because when money goes out to work, it mostly ends up spending time playing rather than working, right? So I mean, it just struck me, that episode just struck me as you were talking, right? I mean, so while we are talking about exposing, I mean, in a way, everybody understands that buying stocks exposes your portfolio to some kind of risk, right? So we just have to keep that risk perspective in mind while we are talking about encouraging women to invest in gold. Where does risk come into the picture? How much should risk be in the story, and how do you balance between risk and reward? So, okay, go ahead, Nishant, your point,
Okay, sir. Yes.
your question. Yeah.
So, as all of you know, that today's topic is how can women participation be increased by the government in the stock market. So before we talk about that part, I think the first question should be that why women participation is less in the stock market? Because everyone is talking about the how can we increase the participation, but the important thing that we have to figure it out that what are the reason behind this, that there is a less participation, so that we would be able to identify the once we identify this problem, then we will be having a solution sort of thing. So my first point over here.
So, okay,
Yes.
before we dive into this question, let us remember that the average participation of the entire country in the stock market itself is less,
Yes.
right? So
Right.
when we are talking about women participation being less, let us make sure that we can convey that it is lesser than average. We already know that the average is low.
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So in trying to answer this question, let's make sure that we specifically talk about how the average woman investment is lower than the average male investment or the average overall investment, right? All right, go
Um,
ahead, Nishant. Yeah.
but sir, I'm going to mention a few points that being reason for the not like or less participation in the market. So shall I
Okay,
continue?
go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to mention over here the financial literacy. The first part is financial literacy. That as Murugal like said that or said, I thought I forgot. Nikhil said that his father bought like Reliance shares and by the name of this his mother. So at that point of time, like his mother don't know about the financial market, or would I say like the Indian equity market, or what is the share exactly. So this is the most important part that nowadays everyone understand and should know as a women that what is the financial market or financial world basically as far as the investment is concerned. So as soon as they will get to know about that part, then she would be able to, or they would be able to understand that how now I can also invest in the equity market or in the shares as well, or I can invest. So this is all about the financial literacy. I have a data to show or to prove this point, but it is a somehow a older data that uh, as you can see over here that 29% women do not pursue MBA program due to financial constraint. Find GAMC, which is a provides a GMAT exam, conduct GMAT exam. So it was a earlier, it was a too old paragraph or article, but to support this particular point, I would like to mention this point. Now moving forward, I would like to mention the second point, that is the engagement crisis and riskiness. See, now if we talk about the women, they are not engaging in such kind of financial world properly. Either they are not able to find those place, or either like they are not understand that how they are going to deal with all those things. And the riskiness is all about that they feel that the market is too risky to invest. हमारा पैसा डूब गया तो क्या होगा? I'm going to lose my money. I'm going to lose my investment in those kind of things. So I personally believe, or I personally think that even if I my share my story in my family, my mother and sister, if any point of time I talk to them about the investing in the stock market, they just say me कि नहीं, you just do only thing. I like I don't want to risk my money. मुझे डर लगता है. I don't want to invest in stock market. So this is what I'm just trying to convey over here. And then BNY Mellon has like according to research that only 1 in 10 women globally felt that they fully understood investing. Even they do not have an idea about that what is investing is in, while just 28% of the women felt confident about investing their money. So an eye-watering 45% women view the stock market as too risky for them. So this is all about the data I'm just trying to convey, that they still feel that the market is risky. So these are the 2 points I have mentioned as a top 2 points. There are a more number of points I would like to mention. Last but not the least, access to capital. So see, guys, as we talk about the investment amount, which is very important as in term, women still thinks about the disposable income which they can invest in the market. Still, they really think that they do not have enough amount or enough money to invest in the market to support these things. So on the other hand, women in Hong Kong, I'm just trying to convey this message on a global basis as well. That in Hong Kong, Singapore believe they need almost $6,000. But if we talk about in India, as you can see over here, they think that their disposable income per month before they can invest should be around $547. So this is all about the data. I'm just trying to convey over here that this is also a constraint that they really think that they would be like requiring the money at least at the 40 to 45,000 or 50,000 as an investment. And the point is over here that if like most of women are working, definitely they are working, but they are spending the money on the other thing. And as far as we talk about the workforce, about the female and male, so near about 32 to 33% women are working mode and rest of the men. So only 33% women are working over here in the in India, and the disposable income is also a very important part. So this is all about from my side why women participate is less in the stock market. Is there any counterpoint or like would you guys ask?
Go ahead, Richa.
Yeah, to coming back to your
So
first
hold
point,
on.
which
Let me just
was
quickly summarize. I think the key points that Nishant made was access to capital,
Yes,
risk-taking capacity, and literacy.
yes, sir.
Those are 3 points, right?
Right.
Those are the main hindrances for women to participate in the stock market. Okay, go ahead, Richa.
okay. So to really tell you that all, I feel like all the points are related. The first thing you talked about is financial literacy. I would like to say one thing, that whenever we have seen this, whenever a guy in the family will not have money, he will go to a woman, and I'm pretty sure like you have given the example, or even in my family, women will still have money. They will take it out from the dabba, chawal ka dabba, or या फिर वो gold बेचेंगे. But the one thing that they will always have is the money. The point being, they have not been able to take part in stock market because they have not been oblivious to the fact that there is something like that we can do it, which I also feel like in India stock market was not really prevalent before this COVID crash, and it was at very nascent state. After COVID, the number has increased significantly because we have a lot of data and tracking. That is one thing that I want to say. Second thing that you mentioned, that Singapore access to capital and Singapore disposable incomes are higher. So I feel like the pay parity, the pay gap that we all talked about, first of all, in the industry that we are working in, finance, I don't think so. Women are really, women doesn't come, women doesn't constitute a major percentage of it. And I feel like gender parity is really big in India. I don't think so. Women or men working at the same level are still paid more at the same amount. The remuneration are very less. Well, while in Singapore, the pay parity is very less. It is decreasing every day. The pay is also better. So that gives them a edge over us. And I also feel like in Singapore, all the women, mostly irrespective of gender, people are working, which I feel like in India, still there is a lot of reluctantness when a woman goes to work. Even in, families or was like literate and everything, women working is still not very, acceptable, which is changing now. Definitely, we are better in terms of it, but we still have a long way to go. So if you will not have the access to capital, how will you invest? And the little disposable amount that you get, or that you get from here and there, obviously you will not want to take more risk if you don't know how stock market works. If, like, for example, I'm investing in stock market for a very long time, but I still don't invest in currency or foreign exchange, because even though I do it in a different asset class, I don't do it because I don't want to do that, because I'm not familiar with how. I understand how it works, but because I've never done it, I don't do it. Instead of, I do it in familiar thing. It is the same for anyone. I feel like it's irrespective of gender, risk taking. And so that is one thing. And I feel like because guys have, upper hand, or the ease of access to capital is more, and generally they are also in the hand. When if they lose the money, it's fine, we don't have any problem. But when women lose the money, we give her a tag, oh, she cannot do it because she is a woman, or she doesn't have, we don't have as many chances as you guys to fail. That is one thing. And risk, risk taking. I feel like women are I would people call it that women don't take risk. I would on the other hand want to call it as that women are more confident in their uh, investment, and they can wait longer than men do. But if again, this is like seeing if the glass is half filled or half empty. It's just the difference in perspective. So, and women
Okay,
being less in numbers have still.
let us summarize. Let's summarize, Richa.
Okay.
What are the key points you're making? I think you're giving a different color to the points that Nishant is making. For example, access to capital, you are basically connecting it to their lack of participating in, or lack uh, of their they're working in reduced numbers outside of homes, and that is giving them less lack of access to capital. Right. Similarly, education wise, I think you're giving a different flavor where what are you saying about education?
I mean, I feel like the problem is they have not been exposed to the markets, whereas women have been always investing. They are investing in gold. They are keeping the money. They do invest in FDs, but the problem is they don't have the literacy to stock market. So
Yeah,
that's where
but
the
that
problem
point
is.
already Nishant made, that they don't have literacy to stock market. Are you adding a different color to that point, or are you agreeing with Nishant?
I mean, I agree to him that that has never been the case because they don't have the they don't have the money to go
No,
and
no, no, no,
start
no.
doing it.
Hold on. We're mixing things here. We already talked about access to capital. That's a separate point. I'm asking you whether you agree with Nishant about
That
literacy part,
that
or do
point I
you think
agree.
there is something else going on in terms of literacy? Is there any other factor that
There is
determines
one more
literacy?
thing.
Yeah.
There is one more thing that I want to add is to that point that we have seen that the women Demat account has grown, but what we have seen is that men tend to open women Demat account and they tend to trade from their account as well. So that gives women give uh, that faith that they will do it. So I feel like that is also one thing which doesn't really encourage women to go into stock market
But
because
then we
they
are
do
almost
believe.
saying India is not a free country. That somebody can trample on your rights if they want, right? I
I
mean,
mean, they
that
are
would
giving
be a
it from
very
their
strong statement. Yeah,
they
that
are
would be a
giving that
little
from their
too
own will.
strong. Yeah, of their own will. Yes, then that's a different issue altogether,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
If they are doing it of their own will, then there's something else going on,
Correct.
right?
So
I mean,
I
definitely.
yeah.
Okay, so let me just summarize. So that we keep moving. Let me just summarize. It seems that the the reason why women don't participate is not a simple question. It has many flavors to it. Access to capital, literacy, and risk-taking capacity are the three reasons that have been talked about. And there is room for looking at all three reasons from a different color, right? Firstly, access to capital, it could just be because they don't work as outside of their homes as much as men do. Second is literacy and risk-taking capacity could be associated with how much interest they have in the stock market, right? I mean, in the sense that if somebody is just handing over their portfolio to a male partner and saying, you manage it for me, it clearly indicates to me that their interest level in that exercise itself is low, right? So the interest level could be another factor into this whole thing. Anybody in the audience that has a comment about why women do not participate in the market?
Sir,
मैं भी निशांत से थोड़ा एग्री हूँ ये लिटरेसी होना बहुत जरूरी है सर अगर लिटरेसी नहीं है तो फिर नहीं हो सकता है सर
ठीक है,
Sir,
नहीं,
I
बट
would
लिटरेसी
also,
होके भी होगा क्या? right? I mean,
सर
the
एक्चुअली वन पॉइंट मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा कि लिटरेसी होके भी आ, उनका जो इंटरेस्ट है या उनका जो मेंटेलिटी है वो भी होना चाहिए, क्योंकि अभी भी मैक्सिमम जो घरों में है वो, अगर हम वुमेन्स की बात करें तो उनकी मेंटेलिटी अगर उनका आप अगर पूछेंगे भी तो कहीं ना कहीं वहां जाके आपको पता पड़ेगा कि वो, अगर हम उनके सामने स्टॉक मार्केट का अगर नाम निकालते हैं तो मोस्ट ऑफ द वुमेन्स को वो चीज पता भी होगी जो अभी की जनरेशन की है। बट अभी की भी जो भी वुमेन्स है वो तक जो स्टॉक मार्केट में है वो पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करना चाह रही है बिकॉज ऑफ लेक इंटरेस्ट, या हम बोल सकते हैं कि उनमें अभी भी कई वुमेन्स को, मैक्सिमम वुमेन्स को इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। और साथ ही साथ उनकी मेंटेलिटी कुछ इस तरीके की है कि हमें ये सब चीजों, मेल्स देख लेंगे, वुमेन उसमें मतलब सक्सेस होने के जो रेट्स है वो कम होंगे। तो ये कहीं ना कहीं चीजें दो फैक्टर पे और आती है, एक है इंटरेस्ट पे एंड देन सेकंड है मेंटेलिटी पे। क्योंकि मेंटेलिटी भी अपने इंडिया की कुछ इस तरीके से रही है कि हमेशा जो वुमेन्स है उनको थोड़ा सा कम दिखाया गया है, तो कई बार वो भी चीज एक फैक्टर हो जाता है। बट मैं
अभी
अगर
तुम
हम देखते हैं,
किसकी
अगर
बात,
अभी बिहार
इंडिया
जैसे
की
राज्य में।
मेंटालिटी की बात कर रहे हो या वुमेन
यस
की
सर।
मेंटालिटी की बात कर रहे हो? आई एम गेटिंग कंफ्यूज वेदर यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द मेंटालिटी ऑफ इंडिया or mentality of women in India? Which of the 2 points are you talking about here?
एक्चुअली सर मेंटेलिटी फ्रॉम वुमेन, मतलब वुमेन की जो मेंटेलिटी है उसके बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ मैं। क्योंकि सर कई बार आप देखिएगा कि स्टॉक मार्केट में ये चीज मैं ऐसे ही नहीं बोल रहा हूँ। एक्चुअली मेरा एक फ्रेंड है जो कि मार्केटिंग कंपनी में है। उसने किसी क्लासेस का कुछ लिया था, जो बोलते हैं उसको मार्केटिंग करना कुछ। तो 50% ऑफ था गर्ल्स के लिए, और अराउंड नागपुर में उसने 5,000, मतलब 5,000 टेम्पलेट्स जो है बांटे थे अलग अलग कॉलेजेस में। सो आप विश्वास नहीं करोगे, मतलब सभी लड़कियों को बांटे थे, जितने जो भी अराउंड एज 25 है, 26 है, जो भी 5,000 टेम्पलेट्स बांटने के बाद से ओनली एंड ओनली 3 जो गर्ल्स है वो उन्होंने कॉल किया और इंटरेस्ट दिखाया। तो आप यहाँ से समझ लीजिए कि जो वुमेन की जो मेंटेलिटी है स्टॉक मार्केट की तरफ, वो किस नजरिए से है। और अगर बात करते हैं जैसे गोल्ड की, तो गोल्ड एक इमोशनल फैक्टर हो जाता है। ये इस चीज में तो मैं ज्यादा बोलना नहीं चाहूंगा, जैसे रिचा ने बोला वो उस चीज से एग्री करता हूँ मैं, कि गोल्ड जो है वो एक इमोशनली फैक्टर है। उसी कारण से जो भारत की जो मैक्सिमम जो वुमेन्स है वो उसमें इन्वेस्ट करती है। और सेकंड थिंग, वो मैक्सिमम उसमें से कुछ 50% वुमेन्स तो वो इन्वेस्ट के इससे करती ही नहीं है। वो एक्चुअली उनको खरीदना है, वो शादी में खरीदना है, पहनने के लिए खरीदना है, या उस मोटिव से खरीदना है। वो अब अपन इन्वेस्ट का नाम दे रहे हैं कि ठीक है इन्वेस्ट कर रही है। बट एक्चुअली वो भी इन्वेस्ट, जब 50% जो औरतें हैं वो 50% इन्वेस्ट के नाम से नहीं खरीदती है, वो भी अपने एक क्या बोलते हैं, कल्चर के हिसाब से बोल लीजिए, या कुछ ऐसा
ठीक है,
रिलीजन के हिसाब
गॉट योर
से।
पॉइंट, गॉट योर पॉइंट। आगे
या
बढ़ते हैं, करो। हाँ, और किसी
Sir,
का कोई पॉइंट? गो अहेड,
I
yes.
गो
I
अहेड
also
मैथिली।
think that women earn lesser than men in like in India.
नहीं,
So
but okay.
yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, Maitri, go ahead. I will not stop. Go ahead.
So no, the only that if they are earning lesser than their partners, naturally they do not see any reason to invest in stock market, because then that becomes an extra investment. People in India are more interested in stable investments, like they will buy a post plan, post office plan, or maybe they will put in FDs. Someone as powerful, a woman as Neena Gupta, was bashed by her husband because she went on investing in fixed deposits, and she wouldn't want to invest in stocks or SIPs or mutual funds. She would just go and put her money in FDs. So that is the kind of mindset. That is, one thing is earning lesser than the other family members, and second is the mindset, I think.
I want to add one more point in this. If the woman is interested and he's sorry, उसकी mentality भी है कि मैं स्टॉक मार्केट में इन्वॉल्व मतलब डालूंगी या फिर इन्वेस्ट करूंगी, तो उसे फैमिली सपोर्ट मिलना जरूरी है, मतलब फैमिली सपोर्ट, फ्रेंड सपोर्ट, समथिंग कुछ तो भी ऐसा चाहिए कि ताकि अगर वो खड़ी हो गई तो उसको पता है कि मैं ये कर रही तो मेरे साथ ये है। अगर मेरे यहाँ से कुछ अप एंड डाउन भी हो जाता है या कोई करना भी चाहता है कि अप एंड डाउन या उसको निगेटिव पॉइंट से मतलब मुझे निगेटिव पॉइंट से नीचे गिराना भी चाहता है या फिर मेरे इसमें निगेटिव फैक्टर लाना चाहता है ताकि मैं इन्वेस्ट ना करूँ, तो कोई तो भी होना चाहिए कि मुझे पॉजिटिवली सपोर्ट करे ताकि मेरा इंटरेस्ट और भी बढ़े और मैं बताऊँ कि नहीं मैंने जो किया है इन्वेस्टमेंट ये करेक्ट है। आई थिंक सो इसमें ये चीज पॉइंट इंक्लूड होनी चाहिए वुमेन्स की इसमें, ताकि वो और स्टॉक मार्केट में इन्वेस्टमेंट कर सके अपने साइड से।
नहीं बट अगर जैसे आप बोल रहे हो ऋतुजा आई थिंक बोल रहे हो, तो अगर आप जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अभी आप अगर नागपुर में देखते हो तो कितने सारे ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स है फीमेल्स है जो कि बीएससी पढ़ने आते हैं, बीकॉम पढ़ने आते हैं, एमबीए करने आते हैं। तो जब वो ये डिसीजन ले सकते हैं कि एक गांव से निकल के और एक सिटी में जाके कॉलेज में एडमिशन करके, और जब अकेली लड़की अगर रह रही है हॉस्टल में रहे रूम पे रहे जहाँ पर भी रहे, तो वो ये डिसीजन नहीं ले सकते क्या वहां पर भी? जब आपने पढ़ाई के लिए आपने जब अपना घर छोड़ दिया है और आप कहीं और जाकर पढ़ रहे हो, तो वहां पर आप स्टॉक मार्केट भी पढ़ सकते हो ना, उसमें
ठीक है, let
वहां पर
us अभी थोड़ा, we are running out of time थोड़ा. I got the point. A very interesting point. All of you made very interesting points, right? The bottom line is I don't think we'll reach a conclusion in this debate. You have all made very interesting points, and we'll come back to these points in different conversations in the future. But let us keep moving the clock, and let us introduce one more new question so that
yes.
we can capture even more interesting points. थर्ड क्वेश्चन अभी किसका है? ऋचा तुम्हारा है.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा.
Yeah, sir, one second. I'll share the screen. I have the question. So my second question is that which was related to how we started this, that we have been looking, this is not the first government scheme, but we know that there are some government schemes which are very prevalent, which have been working. But why this particular scheme that Mohit talked about is unheard of, and why is not this being successful? That is my
Okay.
question. So
Okay.
to answer
You have.
this,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Richa.
to answer that I've seen that government has come up with a lot of schemes. One is NPS, PPF is there. There is there is some for girls also, like at the age of 18, I forgot, it slipped my mind that at the age of 18, if you start putting every month some money, you will be given some money. So all those schemes are there. But what I've seen the pattern is that all the government schemes that are backed, first of all, because we have this insane amount of, you know, bharosa hai government mein ki it is backed by our government and it will not fail. But all those schemes are really giving us low return, which is the risk, which is why, which is because you will get your money back. That is the whole thing. But we have heard of all this, but all these, schemes. But the scheme that Mohit sir talked about, I have never heard it. I have never heard any scheme that take this for women. This is the lowest thing. And even if I've heard it, I don't know how to go there, how to do it, how to apply, what are the particular bureaucracy of it, who will help me. So I don't understand why this first my question was why I haven't heard what the scheme that Mohit sir talked about. The parliament member was claiming of it that it is not working, but my question is I have not heard about it. Where are the templates or where are the articles where you have talked about?
So are you saying
That is
that
one.
is your basic hypothesis that the government is just not advertising enough about the scheme? Is that what you're saying? Is
Yeah,
that your
that
hypothesis?
is
Okay. All right.
correct.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to talk more on this point, or do you want to give
Yeah.
Nishant a
So
chance? Yeah.
just one thing, even if there is a government back, even if there are women who have taken it, where are the data? Why is there not data? And why is it not being successful? So that is my question to Nisha. Over to you.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Nishant. Any thoughts on this?
Yes, sir. Like as Richa said that government are not advertising enough, right? That is what you are saying, है ना?
Yeah.
So I don't think so, because in a rural area where too many people not understand what is a stock market, for them these are the only things to invest to save their money. They would like to go for FDs, either they would like to for women or for girls child, like Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana out there, right?
Yojana, correct.
Yeah. So the point is, banks at the rural area are like advertising enough these things. If you have gone through the banks and all that platform, even on the post office, they highlight those schemes at that point of time. And even like whatever the government is going on, like sort of BJP is ruling party. So you have seen the like CM poster on different cities with their different yojanas and all going on. So I don't think so particularly that they are not enough advertising these things. That is what I want to say.
Correct. That was my whole point, that Sukriti Samriddhi Yojana or PPF, EPF, the schemes which have longer tenure and which gives you low return, but they are backed by government, are, advertised well, which also include that I said that Sukriti Samriddhi Yojana was also there. But this one, which gives a higher return, which is like what government said, this is very good investment. Why was this not heard? I have not heard unless Mohit sir or brought this up. So why, and when I looked it up, I couldn't find it very easily. I couldn't actually really find it easily. So why, if there is I guess the sum was very different. Why, if there is a scheme, why it is not being advertised?
So what Mohit sir said, that can you please say it again? What he's talking about?
Yeah,
One
the
sec.
scheme that Mohit,
Let's give Mohit the chance to talk a little bit about this.
Okay, sir.
Mohit, do you want to share your thoughts on this point?
I'm
Is
just
Mohit around? Yeah.
yes, I'm there. Actually, I just want to be share some of data to Richa. There is enough information about the empowerment of women.
Yeah, what is that scheme called, Mohit?
This empowerment of women actually.
Acha, the scheme is called Empowerment of Women. Okay. And
Mohit,
what
do you
was the
think it
funds?
is,
What was the size of the funds?
3 lakh crores.
3 lakh crores. Okay. Okay. So that is about 3 trillion rupees. 3 trillion rupees when our national budget is 240 trillion rupees is a very significant amount. Right?
correct?
240 to, I think, probably 320 trillion. Even in 320 trillion, it is almost 1% of our GDP. That's a huge amount. Acha.
Yeah, what
Acha,
what
bolo Mohit,
Pratik said.
yeah. Mohit, what did you understand in terms of advertising? How does the
Sir,
government go about advertising the scheme? Do you know?
sir, there is enough articles about this empowerment of women. Even the bank also is showing the enough articles in the website as well.
Acha.
Okay. Can I, just to answer
So
your
hold on,
question,
hold on.
Mohit.
One more question. Mohit, what is your thought? What did you understand? Why is government not being able to spend this money? What was your understanding?
Because of I think so women are basically not interested to take this money like empowerment or something. They don't understand basically. There is a huge gap between the real user and the government.
Hmm. Okay. So there's a communication problem, you're saying.
Yes.
There's a communication. Okay. All right. All right. I mean, definitely Mohit is the person who is closer than all three of us, me, Richa, or Nishant, in terms of understanding the actual dynamics of the situation. Definitely helped a lot, Mohit. Go ahead. Anybody in
Pratik,
the audience that want to
Can I
talk about
say
this?
something?
Sure. Go ahead.
So
Maitri, before you say something,
please,
I
please.
want to make one point. Just
Sure.
give me I have to ask two questions. Maitri, Lakshmi, Rujuta, have you heard of this scheme before today?
No.
No.
No. Correct?
Schemes means
Yeah.
only.
Correct. Just one more question I'll ask. Guys, have you heard about this scheme or have you seen women talking around you about this scheme?
नहीं, मैंने भी नहीं सुना ये
No.
That scheme, what scheme are we talking about?
एम्पावरमेंट
The
ऑफ
scheme
वुमेन,
that, empowerment of women.
अच्छा अच्छा, okay.
ये मैंने
Because
सुना ही
the
नहीं।
Mhm.
correct. तो जो मोहित सर बता रहे हैं जितना बड़ा बजट है which you only attach के 1% of our GDP, which is a very big, the amount is very big. So किसी ने तो सुना होगा. Before Mohit sir brought it up in our webinar, I never heard it, and when I was looking for it, it was also not easy to find. So that is here when I took the census, it proves it.
Richa,
No one
Richa,
has ever heard
Richa,
it.
give me 10 minutes. I will just share with you the details.
ठीक है.
No, I'm not
Okay, hold on,
telling,
hold on.
but what
Let's
I'm
move on.
telling
Let's
is,
move on. Let's not argue about this part. I mean, we understand your point, Richa, and we understand Mohit's point. Let us see some details that Mohit wants to share, and then we'll come back to this. Anyway, I mean, this discussion is not going to get over in this conversation. This particular point, we can discuss about it even tomorrow, right? So, coming back to Maitri, what were you saying, Maitri?
So my question is very basic. Basically, whenever someone wants to give you or sell you some kind of a scheme, the way government does things for LIC, that the LIC agent comes to you and thoroughly explains you these Tata AIG, or for that matter ICICI, these schemes, those particular people literally come to you, go to each person rather, explain them what are the potential of how much they will be able to earn if what they do. In the same way, I think no one has brought stocks so close to any person. Like people are going to others place houses, maybe doctors' chambers, or maybe even anywhere, like and explaining them how this works. If you invest, how much amount of money, what is the possibility. The way LIC schemes, or for that matter SIPs or mutual funds, are thoroughly explained to the person, and then he has a very clear idea of what it involves. Such a thing has, I think, not happened in India as until now.
Acha, I think this is something you can take back, Mohit. Maybe there is a need for them to do a subset research, like for example, picking some area in every state and just trying out a thorough explanation house to house about these schemes. You don't have to do it for the entire country, but you can do a test run for a small group of, a small city or a small town and see what happens, right? And I think, probably trying to do it at the national level would be too large a problem to handle, but at least I think there is probably a need to by the government to start something at a very small scale and see what kind of reaction they get. They Is that making sense, Mohit?
Yes, sir. I'm sharing my screen also. Just check there.
Yeah.
There is a lot of schemes from government to empower the women.
Acha. Okay, all right. We got your point, Mohit.
uh, can I
Okay.
add something, Pratik?
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. One sec. You were saying
हाँ,
there was a female voice that
Mo-
was talking about adding something.
Rich-
Who was it?
Richa.
Richa. Okay, go ahead, Richa.
Yeah, the question was not being there or not. The question was it is not being properly executed and advertisers not been awareness ka problem tha. It's not about the
ठीक
question
है,
of whether
got
it
your
was
point.
there.
Got your point. अच्छा, anybody in the audience that wants to speak on this? Yeah.
एक चीज मैं बोलना चाहूंगा कि ये उल्टा हो रहा है एक्चुअली में। गवर्नमेंट एडवर्टाइजमेंट के ऊपर ज्यादा पैसा खर्च करती है बजाय स्कीम के। क्योंकि सर एडवर्टाइजमेंट जब वो गवर्नमेंट करती है, फॉर एग्जांपल अभी लड़के बहन योजना है, तो वुमेन्स इंटरेस्ट उसी में दिखा रही है जहां पर ज्यादा उनको कोई डॉक्यूमेंटेशन देने का
नहीं,
जरूरत
but
नहीं है। या
okay. Hold on. I doubt you have data to support what you are saying, right? Let us not make overarching statements and make that the basis of our argument, right? या तो अब तुम्हारे पास डेटा है कि भैया ये डेटा है, गवर्नमेंट ने स्पेंड किया है, राइट? ये बोलना कि भैया गवर्नमेंट करती है इसलिए किया है, that is not a fair argument. ठीक है ना? तरुण
सर
तरुण था ना?
सर गवर्नमेंट तो अपनी स्कीम्स दे रही है वुमेन्स को, जैसे उज्ज्वला योजना दी है उसने, बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी बचाओ वाला
ठीक है,
योजना
अपन
दी है।
करते हैं ना रिसर्च, मोहित, अपन करते हैं ना रिसर्च. लेट्स फिगर आउट what the government has done to market this scheme, and whether, like, maybe there is a question there, maybe that's a real question as to whether the government is taking the right approach in marketing that scheme. Like, then we
Yes,
will do our research. If they have done the work, we will see it in our research, na?
yeah,
So let's keep
definitely.
it as a research topic and investigate it later.
I
ठीक है ना?
also want to say something more.
Mm-hmm.
So is it like can government introduce like now they have introduced a like subject about investment, but they have not introduced a detailed subject related to stocks and investment in stocks. So if government does something like in a curriculum only they include these things, then the awareness will definitely increase right from the scratch.
I mean, in a way, I would not want the government to influence my education,
Okay.
right? Because that has many connotations to it. I mean, mostly governments are kept away from deciding curriculums of schools anyway, right? That's a different angle altogether. I think if they want to educate, they should just go from house to house and present the idea that way, or even hold, if they want to do it on a large scale, even hold small conclaves or conferences where they talk about all these things, right? I don't know what is better in terms of budget, what takes less money and what takes more money.
Right.
But these are things, I mean, bottom line is, I think there's room for us to do some research. As Dozen Diamonds, we should do some research as to how government is allocating the money, how that money is being spent, and what percent of the money is going towards marketing, and whether Dozen Diamonds can learn from that whole budget that they've created and figure out how it can participate in the exercise. Right? Next question. अभी अगला question कौन बोलेगा? Fourth question.
I'm
So
going
that
to.
should be from Nishant. Go ahead, Nishant.
Yes, sir. So my next question is today's topic. That is what we are going to discuss about the webinar. The screen is visible?
Yes.
No.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Wait, okay. Now I think it is visible.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to discuss about the what efforts can be made by the government to increase the participation of women in the stock market or financial market, I would say.
Okay.
So there are certain things out there that government should look for, but I'm going to mention a few what comes in my mind first. So see guys, like we have already seen and data released a few days back or 1 month ago that this is the state-wise participation of the women in India into the stock market. So as we can see over here that like these are the 6 states have a major participation of the women near about 38 to 39%, right? So rest would be 60 or 61 or 62% from the rest of India. So government should look for the other areas where they can do like other campaign regarding financial market or financial inclusion regarding financial literacy. I have already discussed about the first question that they should look for the other areas except these things because Delhi, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, UP and Bihar have a like significant, I cannot say significant, but itself a significant numbers from that women are coming from these states or these area. But what about the rest of the state? If we talk about the Madhya Pradesh, Kerala and Northeast, so there are less number of women they are coming from. So I think government should look into this other state as well and spend some of their money from their budget to like promote the financial awareness in term of that. So this was the first point. Now the second point over here is Indian education system. So guys, I just want to mention a few things over here that sorry to ask everyone that how many of you have children to go to the schools in the audience? This is a silly question, but still I'm asking. Maximum, like
हम्म,
who are you, how many of you are married person? And if you
मेरा लड़का जाता है
mine too, मेरा बेटा है 5 साल का, but not he's like that much. But yeah, I'm asking that is the question is because अगर आप लोग उनका करिकुलम देखेंगे, स्टडी मटेरियल देखेंगे, तो देर इज नथिंग लाइक अबाउट द फाइनेंशियल अवेयरनेस और फाइनेंशियल सब्जेक्ट टिल 9th or 10th even in the school, because they do not focus on their studies to teach them from the initial stage or at least from the 5th grade to educate properly in term of it will include females and males as well. So as I share that education level with the other countries, they are providing the financial knowledge to their children. So first from introduced as a financial literacy, UK, US, Australia, Canada, they started from the primary. And you can see India is talking about the 9th to 12th grade student, they are providing the, and even in the commerce, economic stream and a business. So India is still far behind in the education system to provide financial knowledge to their children. If they provide these kind of knowledge from the initial stage, so it will help a lot to understand the financial market as well as the financial system of India. And it will lead to you somehow a maximum participation from the market of the. So this is again a point. The next point is collaboration with the companies. So I barely remember that any government organization or government itself tried to collaborate with private companies to to publicly expose the women empowerment or women investing in the market. That they're just trying to collaborate with the company and try to run some sort of campaign to provide the financial knowledge or awareness about the Indian equity or stock market, right? So here are some sort of companies that already have initiated some sort of purpose or campaign towards the women empowerment or women financial awareness. So, but as far as we connect about the India, there's some sort of private organization who talks about the digital and financial literacy for rural women, but it is not about the stock market or investing in any kind of investing over here. So you can see over here that USA, Kenya, Nigeria, and global, that there are somewhere indulged in the different type of publicity stunt about the some sort of kind of like particularly अगर मैं बहुत लेमन लैंग्वेज में बोलूँ तो रीच जो है बेसिकली दूसरी कंट्रीज में ज़्यादा है एज एन फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी में अगर बात करूँ तो because their government and the like other organization trying to collaborate with the companies, fintech companies and कुछ मिलके वो कर रहे हैं women empowerment के लिए. So that is what also is the thing in case of collaboration with the companies. Now,
Yeah. Go ahead. Are you done with your points or do you have another point?
sir, yes, one more point, sir. So another point is incentivized investment scheme for women. See, like we have already gone through in India that a few broker have a discount broker, their like brokerage part, as we talk about the Zerodha, that they're not charging for positional trades, right? Zero brokerage plan. We have heard, right? But we also saw there is a taxation part which puts on the trading part. Brokerage is different, taxation is a different part. So like STT लग गया, stamp duty लग गया, turnover charges लग गया, SEBI का turnover charges लग गया. So government also look for those things कि अगर एक women अकाउंट है और वो ट्रेड करना चाह रहा है या इन्वेस्ट करना चाह रहे हैं, सो दे कैन रिड्यूस दिस पर्टिकुलर चार्जेस फ्रॉम देयर साइड फॉर दोज वुमेन टू get more investment or more women.
You know what will happen? You know what will happen, Nishant. If they do that, all that is going to happen is that the men trading for the women are going to actively make use of those schemes. That is not going to change one thing,
Right, I do agree with that.
right? I mean, so the point is we have to keep in mind that, we as Indians have crooked ways of exploiting anything we come across. So we have a way of figuring out how to manipulate the system to make it work for us, rather than trying to understand the true intention and the true meaning of why a particular thing has been practiced. Anyway, I mean, I just could not resist talking about that while you were mentioning that point. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sir,
Nishant.
that was the point actually. I have done my 3 points over here with this.
Achha. So, what was the summary of your 3 points? Let us just revisit them quickly. First point was
First point was the
education system.
education system के पहले sir participation from the different state of the India.
Acha.
First was this.
So,
The
you're saying
second-
something is happening different in the states of Delhi, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu, and something similar should happen in other states that is not happening.
Yes, right.
Okay, that's a fair point. Or kuch? Or what the second point was?
Indian education system, sir.
Education system. Okay.
And last was the sorry,
Collaboration. Okay.
companies, fintech companies and all that. And
Right.
last
But
was
you then,
the
yeah, was
incentive
incentivizing investment. Okay.
yes, scheme for
ठीक है. Okay, go ahead, Richa. What is your point in this direction?
Okay, so for the starting thing where the different states were discussed, I'm surprised
No,
Gujarat is not part.
yeah, okay. I mean, firstly, go ahead, make your point. What do you think? I mean, the question is pretty general. I'm sure you thought about this question before this debate because it's still within the scope of the debate. So the question is, what effort should the government make? Right? Do you have suggestions beyond what Nishan suggested, or do you have some suggestions overlapping his suggestions? Either way, we would want to listen. Go ahead.
I mean, what they could do is see the government is trying to push the participation overall. It's not just women that they are trying to push, but they
No,
want the
this scheme is for women specifically.
yeah. Okay, so um, I feel like taxation benefit is one thing that we all talk about, or we have talked about like you can give concession to women in demat accounts and all, but that again you cannot verify the data that if it is a woman doing it or a man posing as uh, women doing it. So so that won't make sense. What they
Okay.
can do actually is what we have seen people doing is they are bringing women together in rural India, in urban center, and they are this is private people. They are trying to educate them. They have started educating women. They have started giving incentives to women. To add to it, when Maitri pointed out one point that she has seen all the women who have a lot of disposable income from their family, they are investing more, which clearly shows that Delhi is highest number of women. So what government could do from their side, I guess, Tamil Nadu government has also started doing this, that they are providing 1,000 rupees to women who are housewives. So again, it boils down to the point they are just giving 1,000, how much you can invest, but the point boils down to the more women will start uh, earning money. So I feel like it's more than direct things. There are very indirect ways in which government can accelerate the whole process. Directly, you cannot go and knock on every woman's head, let please invest. But you can uplift women in a lot of ways where she can earn money and then she can start investing. Second thing, we have seen a lot of people have started, a lot of groups, NGOs go and you know, they help women educate. They also help with literacy. They educate women. How does that work? And now I feel like in rural India, because there are a lot of banks that function in rural area from last couple of years, they have a proper documentation. I feel like women also don't participate in stock market because there is a process to it. You have to have certain things, you have to have certain rules. So I feel like as government will ease on it, or government will start taking more steps in you can now we can easily open an account. Now all the things can be easily verified, we have seen. So that will help women to participate more. I guess this approach is more indirect rather than direct. And one question that I really wanted to answer, that I don't agree to Nishant, is education system that you pointed out. Like India is behind in education system, right? I mean, again, with no judgment or no questions, how many of you have taken commerce in 11th standard? Can someone tell me? Or how many of you have done MBAs? Yeah. And when did you start actually investing in stock market? Was that aligned, or you started after you started earning? Nishant.
After
What is your
graduation.
point? What is your point,
No,
Richa?
my again, let me him answer it. I'll come to my point. Did you start investing as soon as you were you in MBA, or you started investing at later point of time when you started earning?
I started my MBA and investing both itself at the same point of time, back
Same
in
point of time.
2012.
Yeah, but I guess many people, I mean, I feel like now, even in 11 and 12, we have the idea, like when I've seen curriculum right now, people have stock market is there, they have financial things. But my problem is the disposable income is not there. That is why people don't start investing in. So yes, I feel like the curriculum should have. We should be introduced in a bit early, like in 6th, 7th standard. But I don't think so. It should go beyond earlier than that. Is what my thing is, because we don't in India the uh, that people start earning very early. So I feel like that is something that I counter with a lot of people, but that is very personal thing that
But
I
I
believe.
doubt whether other countries are teaching their kids to trade in the stock market. I doubt whether somebody in fourth grade or fifth grade is being taught about the stock market. Most
Correct.
likely they are probably being taught about how you should think about money. For example, my sister has two daughters, right? They right from the time they were in fourth grade or fifth grade, I have encouraged both my sister and her husband to talk about the family budget with these kids, right? So that they begin, I mean, it's not like you're giving them control over the family budget, but they should be aware of what is happening within the family. How much money gets spent on groceries, how much money gets spent on entertainment, how much money gets spent on education, how much money gets spent on medical bills. That is something they should have a sense about. That does not mean you're giving them money in their hands, but most likely these countries are building that sense. They're not encouraging them to go and invest in the stock market when they're in fourth grade or fifth grade. They're basically encouraging them to build a financial model in their heads about how the world works. So,
Yeah, so that I'll agree to. So it should rather not be like a stock market, but it should be like money as a sense of commodity that should be inhibited in kid. Okay, how
yeah.
does it works and why does it
And that
affect
lacks in our
everyone?
country. That lacks in our country. I mean, it is just not there. That sense is just not there. I mean, even until, even when you go to college, you still are being told that, focus on your studies, don't think about money. The family will give you money, don't have to think about
Yeah.
how money is being spent. You should not be spending your time thinking about money, right? I mean, it's only when you get your first paycheck that you are suddenly stuck with this idea that now you have to decide where to place that money and how much money should be allocated for different things. Definitely, there's a gap in education
Hmm.
system, right? That is, I mean, I'm sorry again I butted into this discussion, but go ahead, Richa. finish your points. I just could not hold back talking about this
Yeah.
aspect. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that was you basically concluded my point. My second point was going to be that only, that the way we see money should be taught in the curriculum instead of stock markets. How we should work with money and how the psychology is affected by money and planning. That should more
I
be
think in a way you are
inclusive
agreeing
rather
with,
than.
yeah, I think in a way you are agreeing with Disha. I think that was probably his point too. I don't think, I mean, agree, right, Nishant? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think you were suggesting that they should be taught about the stock market.
Yes, yes. Actually, that is what I'm trying to say. Ki it is not about stock market. It is all about the financial awareness.
ठीक है, got your point. Got your
Then I
point.
agree.
Yes.
ठीक है, और क्या? Anything else, Nisha, Richa, you want to add before we start engaging the crowd on this topic?
No, I've said my point. So that's what.
Acha.
There are a
So
lot
a
of
couple of things
indirect
came to
ways.
my mind. Like moving on to the crowd, like I want to just make a few points that came to my mind as I was thinking about this, right? So, in fact, I'm actually forgetting the first point, but the second point I was thinking was there should be a scheme encouraging women to participate in paper trading, right? Because if they are participating in paper trading, nobody in their family will be wanting to take that away from them, right?
Yes.
There
Right.
is no incentive for the male members in the family to stop them from paper trading or
Yeah.
even to hamper their paper trading, right? So there should be schemes focusing primarily on paper. And now I remember my second point. My second point was I personally think investing in the stock market. I mean, my point might sound a little obtuse, but we have to think about as a patriotic exercise. You know, it is an exercise where we are participating in the growth of the country, right? The money that we are spending in the stock market is the money that is contributing towards the growth of the country. Keeping it in gold is, in a way, hampering the growth of the country, right? So I think the government should basically create mechanisms for people to get that patriotic sense associated with investing in the stock market. I mean, I know, like I said in the beginning, it's a very obtuse thought, right? I mean, associating investing in the stock market with patriotism may actually be an obtuse thought, but I think there is some effort needed in that direction to recognize that you are participating in the economy of the country when you are investing in the stock market. That sense should be built, right? It is not just about your personal gain and your personal growth. It's because in participating in the growth of the country, you will automatically be participating in your growth. It's almost comparable to you paying your taxes, right? Just like you allocate your money to pay your taxes, some part of your money should be allocated towards investing in the market. I mean, of course, you don't want to gamble in the market, but you still have, it should also almost be like a patriotic responsibility to participate in the market and participate in the growth of the country. What do you think? I mean, I think both my points are very debatable, right? Whether paper trading is a good thing or a bad thing, and whether that should be, how can the government encourage people to participate in paper trading? And the second is whether there should be a patriotic sense attached to the stock market. Any thoughts on both these points? Anybody in the crowd? I mean, including any points that both Richa and Nishant made. I just wanted to add these 2 points to the list of points they made. So, Maitri, anything? Lakshmi?
I think, sir, paper trading can be boosted in terms of, let's say, government has done or partnered with self-help groups or SHG on in number of rural areas. For instance, in Jharkhand, specifically in Dhanbad and all those regions. So it is not that they haven't uh, taken any effort in that direction. So I think it can be started, or government can take initiative in that direction.
Are you
Uh,
talking specifically about paper trading or other similar schemes that they have tried out in other fields?
They have, yeah, I mean, they have boosted trading, I would say, stock trading, investment in stock trading that the government has done. So along that direction also, I think they can also encourage women to start with paper trading as a simulation model, and then it can boost their learning
Right.
and they can move
Because there's
ahead.
no risk involved in that exercise. There's nobody that is going to stop them from that exercise.
Right, right.
So so all the factors associated with, I mean, and it's not even about literacy anymore. You do it, you participate, you see yourself losing money, you will build your sense about what you need to get educated upon. Right?
Yes, yes, I agree with that.
Acha. Any thoughts on the patriotic front, or any of the points that Nishan, like literacy or collaboration with companies,
So,
and what were the other 2 points, Nishant?
Education system. Education system.
Education system. I talked about literacy, na?
हाँ,
So,
okay.
ठीक है.
Anything more?
Anybody, any thoughts?
so that
Sumit, any thoughts? Yeah, go ahead.
so that patriotic angle is the extension of what I had said earlier, that when you buy gold, it is just sitting inside your lockers, and it's like as a tradition, it's only brought out when there is some kind of a crisis in the family. So when women start investing in stocks, then they are actually uh, helping the country to progress. So that sentiment could be instilled in women at large, because see, I have seen people having kilos of gold in their locker rooms.
The
And
the kind of ad I can see is just like a mother gives money to her son, or a sister gives money to her brother, or a daughter gives money to her father because the family is in crisis. That same role she is playing for the country by investing in the stock market.
right.
Wouldn't that be an emotional ad, right? But I mean, of course, I mean, I hate ads that play upon emotions of people, but I mean, it would be a very emotional kind of ad.
Right.
Go ahead. Anybody else? Any thoughts?
And that deep self-help group idea is very good, because no one wants to indulge into doing any kind of, even little bit of risk is involved. No one wants to be doing it alone. So those self-help groups in the rural areas are a thing, and government has to go to each and every self-help group and explain the potential of making those women self-reliant by investing in stock.
Mohit, are you getting any ideas, or are you finding that, we are making suggestions that are, unfathomable or undoable?
To one thing I want to add, Maitri, I guess Zerodha, Nathan Kamat's varsity, they are engaged with some NGO and they are doing this initiative.
Okay.
Uh, so that is being played, but those are all private sectors, and I guess those are all subsidized by government. But I don't have full detail about it. But pictures like this are getting in played. Like I've heard some days before with Rain Matter, varsity, they have gone to areas in North Karnataka where the Kamat brothers are from, Hubli, Dharwad, and they have educated um, I don't remember the data, but they have educated women towards investing, towards opening accounts and everything. So that has been done, but it's a slow process.
Okay.
I guess that's it from my and Nishant's side. Unless Nishant, do you want to add something?
No, that's it from my side. Yeah, one more thing I would like to add, like, okay, what I personally think that due to lack of renowned female trader in the Indian stock market, it also be one of the reason behind that there is less participation of the women trader or investors. That there
I
is
was
no.
just talking to Mohit and getting him back on the conversation because he was tied up with something else. Right. So I'm sorry I missed the last 2 minutes. Anything major that might have missed in that process?
And Nishant made a very great point, actually.
Go
Nishant.
ahead, Nishant.
Sir, there is a lack of renowned female or women trader in the market. There are less number of women traders out there. That renowned person, there's a hell of face, proper face that we can
No,
see right.
but okay, let me ask you this question,
Okay,
right? If you're talking, it's a matter of renowned people being in. We all know that the president of the country is a woman. We have had women prime ministers, right?
right.
All these leaders, do they actually impact the decision making of the people at the lowest level in terms of deciding whether they want to be leaders or not, right? My
No, but
question is that these role models, they might be too. See, for example, there's the concept in education, there's this concept called active learning, right? The
right.
concept is your teacher teaches some concept to your class. Some people get it right away, some people take some time to get it, right? Now, the people that get it right away, if they were given a chance to explain to the people that did not get it right away, they do a much better job than the teacher, right? Because they can associate, they can understand why the person that is not getting it, because they have overcome the same challenges that the person not getting is facing, right? So the concept behind active learning is that you learn much faster from people in your neighborhood, in your surroundings, rather than like the big role models or the big icons in any industry,
Yes,
right?
right.
So the
But
change has to be in your environment. Just changing people on the top does not change the story. That is just my take. I mean, you might have a different take, but please go ahead. What do you think, Nishant?
no, actually, what I was talking about is a very generalized way. Like, for an example, there are 5 women in a group, and out of 5, 2 are investing or trading, and they are making money or good profits and all that thing. So the rest of 3 will auto get would be like attracted with those things. कि अरे यार, they are earning so much, and
Yeah.
so we should also try. So in that
And
sense,
that is the word of mouth phenomenon, right? Of course, the word of mouth phenomenon always has a role to play. But that has its own behavior characteristic in any society. Like, I mean, in the US society, word of mouth plays very little role. In India, it plays a very big role in many decisions, whether it's you choosing your dry cleaner or you hiring a cook or hiring a maid. We all go by word of mouth. We always try to understand what our neighbor is doing and then learn from that and do something, right? So word
the
of
first,
mouth is not something that you can teach to a society. It is already there or it's not there, right?
yes, yes,
I don't think any government scheme can influence that behavior. So
yes,
go ahead, Richa. You were saying something.
I mean, I get what Nishant is saying, to give your example only, that there have been prime minister and president, which has opened the doors for many people. So it's surprising to say that women are more in political careers than finance careers, just because they have seen that there is a place for them, because there have been women, there have been role models. But whereas role models like Radhika Gupta, or we have seen SEBI chairman, who was a woman in last 5 years, which has also pushed, I feel like, which has also pushed a lot of women to work in it. I guess Radhika Gupta is one example that a lot of people give to encourage women. So I agree to what Nishant was saying.
I mean, I don't think that women participation in law or in psychology or in humanities has anything to do with role models. It is just the human nature. Women's nature is to be passionate and compassionate, right? That we cannot deny. I mean, it's the compassion part of a woman that feeds into some of these departments, right? So it
right.
is not just a case of role models. I mean, role models, I think it's the other way around. It's because of the compassion and the passion that they have for some of these topics that they end up in these bigger roles. It is not that because of women in the bigger roles, other women get motivated to participate. Right?
Yes. Right.
I mean, yeah, I think it's the reverse in those fields. Those fields are very different. Finance is just not a field that most women somehow connect with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, somehow they just don't connect with that field. Right? I mean, that is, I mean, why that is, is only a part of the reason we are having this debate. Our real conversation is around what schemes government should take out, right? So, all right, cool. Should we? So, I was asking Mohit some of the suggestion. I don't know whether you were listening to that part where I made some suggestions, and one of the suggestions I made was that the government should spend some energy in encouraging women to paper trade. Were you there when we were talking about that, Mohit?
No, sir, I skipped that.
Acha. So the idea
Anyway,
was, yeah.
Anyway, actually, the original scheme is not investing in stock market. The original scheme is empowering the women.
Acha. Okay, so maybe we misinterpreted.
Yeah. I think you are all are misunderstood. The original scheme is empower of women.
Acha. So what are they offering in that scheme? What are they?
They try to self dependent women actually,
So
independent
are they
women.
giving loans or what are they giving?
They're trying to give the loan or certain period to empower the women.
Acha. Okay. Anyway, I think this conversation is still relevant. It is still a relevant topic, like why are women are not part, why are women are not part. Let's forget the scheme for a moment. But even so, just figuring out what needs to happen for women to get involved more in investing is an interesting topic in itself anyway, right? So along those lines, I think, and again, coming back to the empowerment in women's scheme, right? Empowerment of women's scheme, I think there is still room for us to make a suggestion that paper trading plays some role in empowering women anyway, right? That there is a big gap in terms of empowering women in terms of their participating in the stock market. And one of the ways that the government can participate is by helping them overcome the challenges that they face. And an easy way to overcome these challenges is just to facilitate paper trading somehow. Right? That was one point. The other point was that as a country, we should associate investing in the stock market to patriotism. It is a part of, just like we allocate funds to pay our taxes, part of our fund should be allocated towards taking care of. I mean, it's almost like money that we are allocating to take care of the country in a way, right? Government, the taxes that we are paying to the government are only facilitating the infrastructure, right? But the processes are still being determined by the businesses and the new entrepreneurs that are coming up with new ideas, right? So while we are fueling the infrastructure growth by empowering the government, we should similarly be trying to empower the stock market to foster new ideas. So that was the second concept, like using patriotism and using paper trading. So, अच्छा और किसी का कोई idea, anything anybody else wants to share? Go ahead, please.
I have a few points to cover.
Pardon?
Sir, I have a few points to tell.
Go ahead, Murugavel. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, when coming to the investing part, we have wide range, like several investing, but not only the stock market, we have gold and real estate, it will come. And most of the people, they will focus on investing on safer side. So in safer side, mostly they will prefer gold and real estate only. So stock market side, very less people, they will enter and they will invest a small amount. But rather than the safest bet, I would say actually stock market created more fear. like I would like to mention few points. Maybe it might be a 1992 scam or 2007 crash, again 2020 crash. So frequently crash is happening. It making to lose most of their capitals. So suddenly it's falling down. But if you're checking the gold or the real estate part, it's steadily increasing. Or even if it's crashing, if it's affecting very less only. But stock market side, it have more risk. So need to give more awareness about that. And one more thing I want to cover, actually, when coming to the point why the peoples are investing less in the market. So we have to take the several surveys. We can find out in the surveys, maybe in the college or something, with a few couple of questions. Why it's blocking to enter into the stock market? It might be a risk, or it may be a capital, or we have to get those data with a couple of questions. Then we can analyze what is impacting the majorly. So that's the
Nice
point
points.
I have to say.
Nice points, Raghu. Nice points.
Yes, because it's created more fear. So most of the people, they will prefer safest investment plan only.
Right.
So if
No, but
suddenly
these
even the
points are
recent point,
relevant for the entire country. It is now we are not just even
yes,
talking about women, we are talking about the perception across the country, right? I mean, these same issues exist in any market in any country, right?
yes,
How come still the participation in US is 32% and here it's 5%, right? I mean, it's the same volatility issues, it's the same risk issues, but somehow there the participation is 32%, here it's 5%, right?
yes. So
So
those,
there
if you're
is
taking
something.
several surveys with the college students or youngsters, maybe we might get some exact point. What is impacting majorly? Maybe it's a risk, or market is creating more fear or capital. We can get some data.
I mean, we don't need any more data. We have ample data. We have, I mean, if you just look at the newspaper every day, you have ample information to understand what is impacting what, right? Like the newspapers nowadays in the economic times are filled with banks making profits, right? There is very little
Yes,
information in our economic times talking about innovation, Indian innovation, and what role Indian innovation is playing in. Our economic newspapers are mostly filled with news about how deals are being made, how one company is merging with another company, right? There is no innovation section in our economic times paper, right? There needs to be an innovation section right there, right?
yes, exactly. Actually, I want to mention that even the recent time Adani is crashed it. So it suddenly crashed majorly most of the Adani stocks almost 50%. So every time when we watch the news channel, they are repeating the same thing. So it's creating the more fear.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, we have already talked about what role media plays in the craziness, right? I mean, the stock market is not just an individual isolated entity. It is surrounded firstly by the brokers. Then it is surrounded by the media. Then it's surrounded by the government, right? There are multiple entities that, in a way, you say they have their hand in the till, right? And
Yes,
and the only source of capital fueling the market is the brokerage that is getting generated through the trading, right? So I mean, it's a complex game. That the question that you are asking at a national level and even at a broader level beyond just women, that is a much more complex question, right? Today we will just focus on the women issue, but the broader question is a much more complex issue, and a lot of attempts made by the government have not succeeded, basically, because they recognize that. I mean, as far as the government is concerned, they want to see a lot of economic activity. The more economic activity, the more money they can get in their hands to fuel the infrastructure processes. So, I mean, if anybody is feeling the pain of the stock market not growing, it is the government more than anybody else. So, anyway, I think should we summarize? Should we wrap up, or does anybody want to have any further points they want to talk about?
The last point I would like to make
Uh,
that like as a definition of investing is a quite a different in women person to person, because
okay.
yes, so too many women think about is as far as the investing is concerned, like they are saving in their account. A few think they are investing in gold or something like that. A few more, if we talk about थोड़ा और ज़्यादा आगे की बात करें तो investing part has come to the SIPs. Too many women are started their SIP in past 4 to 5 years post COVID actually. So still they are not think into the direct access of the stock market.
No, I think this is a point we should have made somewhere in our debate and we failed to make, right? When women approach an activity, they want to approach an activity in a very planned fashion.
Right.
They want somebody to guide them in a planned manner. They don't just want to like jump into like it's human, like somehow the male nature is geared much more towards exploration. And the female nature, I mean, I don't know whether this is genetic or whether this is social, but somehow women approach tasks with a plan, right?
Right.
They're not just looking to explore, they have a plan in mind before they take up anything, right?
Correct.
And maybe that, somehow if the government wants to think about women empowerment, it should probably engage in making sure that the women see some plans. And plans and schemes are two different words. They're not the same word, right? I mean,
Yeah.
putting together a scheme and presenting a plan is totally different, right?
Right.
If the government shows, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you will get to a success. That is very different from giving a scheme where you say, okay, I'll give you 10,000 rupees, you figure it out for yourself, right?
And as we see, sir, normally on the televisions and all the things channels that there are mutual funds ads is going on continuously. Mutual funds sahiye, mutual funds sahiye. So the mentality is something like is now we should go for the mutual funds and all that. So they are not trying to understand what the thing is, how does it work and all that.
Right, right. Agreed. Completely agreed.
Yes.
I think much more than literacy, it's the need for a plan. You have to present a plan to them. You have to show them, okay, how do you succeed? How do you go from point A to point Z
Yes.
while not getting hit by a truck in the middle somewhere, right?
Correct.
So,
Right.
okay. All right. I mean, I think maybe that's where doesn't damage comes in, right? I mean, our whole goal is to present an investment approach, a trading plan, right?
Yes. Right.
So I think if Mohit, I think the way you could probably approach this whole thing is by talking about plans rather than schemes and basically presenting Dozen Diamonds as a company with a plan versus a scheme that supports anything, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks a
I can
lot.
add one
Yeah, go
point,
ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
psychological aspect and evolutionary approach, evolutionary aspect to this. Your statement, like women are less into exploring and more into planning, because women will always, for women, exploring things will always turn out to be expensive. For men, it is not like that, and so they are built to be risk averse. The more like previous times when the evolution took place, any kind of exploration by a woman or any risk taking on her side backfired. So
No,
they are
but let's not
evolved
go
to.
all the way back to evolution. I mean, evolution is a very complex topic, right? I mean, soon we'll be talking about monkeys and their behavior. Right?
But
Let,
then,
let us
yeah,
not go that far.
that explains the non-risk taking approach that women have.
Yeah, but social structures have been built, na? For example,
I
I mean, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I will
Who was
agree
talking?
to what Maitri was saying. I mean, I'll not rate back the evolution, but personally also speaking, we have been conditioned that way to. So that is a social construct, which again is
Okay.
open to interpretation. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, all right, cool. Excellent point. Maybe evolution versus conditioning could be the next topic for figuring out what plays a
Don't think
bigger
we
role
should
in
indulge.
investing, right? So,
I don't think we should indulge in that because, as Pratik always says, please don't turn my company into into a psychological company or something like that.
right,
Both of
right,
you.
right, right. Chalo. Thanks a lot, guys. Let's wrap up. Thanks for participating. We created enough questions and enough material for thought, and we'll revisit this in our morning discussion. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.